This is the kind of day that comes straight out of the dreams of any petrol head. Welcome to Italy and welcome to Pagani for a journey with Utopia. Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel where today I'm putting together the specification for my dream Pagani Utopia. Before that, we're going to go and take a look around the museum, some of the history of Pagani, and head into the assembly hall where these cars are now in production to get under the skin and find out a little bit more. Believe me, the customization choices are endless, but we're going to head into the configuration studio to take a look through what we can do to build my perfect Pagani Utopia. We will visit the Atelier. This is of course where the Utopia is now on the production line. In fact, we'll see some of the stages from the early carbon fiber manufacturing as the different pieces are created before they arrive for sub-assembly of different components and ultimately a good look at cars as they are being assembled. There's not only that though, but also the finishing stages before we have the collection of cars that's on display both here in the Atelier and the others that we can find in the museum as we go for a tour around. Then we're heading here to the configuration department. Come on in, because we're going to be producing a spec. Now, all of the furniture here at Pagani, even down to the table and chairs, is designed, engineered and produced in-house, carbon fiber and titanium. Even the cabinets that house the samples and different materials. Endless choices of leathers for the interior, endless choices of paints for the exterior, along with different exposed carbon fiber trims. But you're going to join me for this journey today to produce a specification for an unbelievable car like this, the exterior and the interior, and I hope you're going to like what we choose. Let's head on in and go today to create a dream Pagani Utopia. I need to start with a quick introduction to this work of art that is here on the turntable, Pagani's third model after Zonda and Huayra. The car initially codenamed C10, but now of course Utopia. The name itself comes from the philosopher Thomas More, who back in 1516 said that Utopia was somewhere that does not exist, a place of which we dream, and that is what we are looking at right here. Let's have a bit of a walk around just to take in some of the details and elements of this entirely new, developing on the cars that have come before, using the likes of the Huayra R to incorporate new technologies and developments as well. As we start with the design, familiar shapes and styling cues, the way the fog lights float inside the aerodynamic elements, a new design to the headlights, but with all of the intricate details that you can see within. Of course, an entirely carbon fiber bodywork presented over the entire car with optional visible carbon available as well. These shapes and floating elements, and in fact even the door mirror arms that you see here, are an aero-tested aerofoil to help with the design work. As you head towards the back of the car, you can see these openings, the way the flowing bodywork has this simple, elegant design. Horacio Pagani chose to launch the car in Milan, the hometown of one of his biggest inspirations, Leonardo da Vinci. Take a closer look back here. Familiar shapes, the way these turbine aircraft inspired tail lights sit inside the aero openings, the active aero flaps that you have at the back, the traditional iconic quad exhaust tailpipes that sit right in the very center. Before we come back towards the cabin, this entirely new glass house with significantly more visibility and feeling of airiness thanks to the glass windows over the top. If I pop open the doors, which have these stunning latches to pop them, doors open up to reveal the most incredible of interiors. The amount of analog elements, the feel of simplicity, but also connection and lightweight materials. For example, we have the carbotanium tub, the entire carbon fiber tub for the vehicle. The steering wheel is milled from a single piece, starting at 50 kilos and being worked all the way down to 1.8. Take a look at the dashboard dials, even where you can see the gears and cogs and the workings, the inner workings. Plus, you've got the exposed connection for the shifter in the very center, with the car available as both a manual or with a paddle shift as you prefer. It's powered by a V12, of course, the 6-litre twin turbocharged V12, making 864 horsepower, 1,100 newton meters of torque, and it's undeniably stunning. But we need to take things back a little bit to see where this began. Our journey begins here in the museum, and technically speaking, you could call this Horacio Pagani's first ever car, an F2 single-seater, which he actually built and assembled in his garage in Argentina. Fast forward to the 80s and Horacio moved to Italy, started working at Lamborghini on the Countach as a designer, before in the late 90s creating what we have here. And in fact, this first car on the turntable is one I have a very personal connection with. This is La Nonna. It is the second chassis that was ever made. The first has also been restored and is on display in a museum in Turin, but this has been through every iteration. The prototype testing stages of the S, the F, the Cinque, and now in full 760 specification. And I rode on board this car 11 years ago. It's presented here though in one of the later stages of the look. It's done so many miles and kilometers on the roads of testing for all of the different configurations, but we have to walk on through because this is a quick history of the Pagani Zonda. We start with the Zonda S. The earlier cars had a very slightly different look, the high mirrors. We then have the F with tinted carbon fiber. Horacio Pagani always completely ahead of the game. One of the most revered cars of all time, the Pagani Zonda Cinque Roadster. They were the 5 Cinque Coupes, the 5 Cinque Roadsters, and this was one of the first Halo limited edition products to ever exist. This is the Zonda R Evo Barchetta, taking the already crazy Zonda R that we have here, that became the Revolution, and combining it with the ethos of the HP Barchetta road cars with the low/cut windshield, these high-mounted mirrors, and the ultimate in racing experience. But there's so much more in here as well. We have the engines, the collaboration and partnership with Mercedes-AMG to produce the ultimate in power plants, the V12, absolutely critical and crucial. I mean, look at the back of the Zonda R here, exposed with the most amazing design, detail, work of art in a race car. The elements here, there's actually a story behind the livery there that links back to something Horacio had worked on when he was much younger, a teenager in fact. But keep coming through because we've got all of the molds, the different samples of the Huayra R, obviously all the wind tunnel testing that has to go into all of these different cars. And even as we come back past La Nonna, which by the way means grandmother, the most respected of the family, which I think is certainly true for this, we come past one of the early Huayras as well. Now this is all actually changing and there are going to be different things going further afield into the future, but not a bad place to begin before we head on through and go see what's next. Horacio's original autoclave is this item right beside me. It's been redone to finish to match the two enormous pieces of equipment on this side. But what's really interesting is they actually designed these themselves, and even down to the paint, which is Bronze Aymara, the original launch color of the Pagani Huayra, when of course these were put into use. If you come on around here, because just to give you a sense of the scale, to build the size of these parts, the full clamshells, the full carbon fiber tubs, of course you need the amount of space inside to heat them up, to make sure that they become the ultimate strong, lightweight components that you expect to find in a Pagani. As you can imagine, there are a lot of parts for the car that can all be completely personalized. We have the manual shift linkage just here, which looks stunning. Also, as you can see for this car, going for the black finish, whether that's the Utopia badging or some of the interior components all anodized. Plus, take a look at this. That is the dipstick, something you will basically never see, which is also anodized in red. The attention to detail of a part like that is amazing. This is a sight to behold. We're about to take a look around in the assembly hall, but I've got to point out quickly, look at the architecture that's around. When the new facility was built, this is all to represent the Renaissance of Modena, the local region, even down to the brick, the tiles, the way it's all set up, even with a collection here of Horacio's bicycles and the scooter as well. But there are some very, very special cars, the likes of the Huayra Roadster BC, one of only 40. Next to that is the Imola, one of 5 original Imola coupes. We've recently seen the introduction of the Imola Roadster. We then have a full carbon Zonda F. The F to me was one of the real standouts. They made 25 manual gearbox in this. I actually filmed with this before as well, the original concept 1-to-1 model of the Huayra R before I got to drive one at Spa. We then have a Zonda S Roadster, again throwing back the design of the late 90s, early 2000s, a time when they were less complicated, but we go from one of the first cars to one of the last. This is the HP Barchetta, number 1 of 3, the iconic blue tint carbon fiber with this low slash cut windshield, really Horacio Pagani's iconic car in his ultimate form. A bit of a celebration really of his 60th birthday as it happens, and so many details about it. That's the collection, but there's a lot more to go and see. As you can imagine, approaching the assembly line, I need to dip into black and white. There are a lot of very bespoke and unique cars around here, so to protect the privacy of customer specifications, we shall go down that path for this little part of the tour. But here, we have a lot of the components arriving for final assembly. These are all tinted carbon fiber, looking stunning. The mirror housing and arms, different parts that go all around the vehicle, the active flap for the rear of Utopia, even the central tunnel components, and down below the much larger pieces, which are the internal door cards with the cutouts awaiting the speaker grills. Now just behind, have a look at this, the entirety of the rear clamshell, and this is why there's such a large autoclave. This is also tinted carbon fiber, but with the flaps in place, also with the tail lamps installed, but a very, very big piece. As we come through, we've also got the lower part of the rear bumper before the front clamshell as well. And what I really like about this, come and have a closer look, is that even on the internal parts, they still make sure that the weave is presented perfectly. The interior that you rarely see of these kind of components, in fact might never ever see, is all presented as perfectly as you see on the outside. This is where the magic truly happens. Standing beside, in this case, a Utopia which is effectively naked, just missing the body panels, another car right behind me again with very, very distinct specifications. But this car, when you start to look under the skin, you see a little bit more. For example, come and see here the components for the double A wishbone suspension. It's all beautiful inside, and in fact this particular example is one of the first manuals to be built with the exposed shift system there. It's actually got some tinted carbon fiber inside, although I appreciate you can't necessarily see that at this stage. You would have your storage boxes sitting here above the fuse box, but then come to the back. There are actually over 500 CNC components in-house on Utopia. What you can see here above is actually the suspension system developed for the Huayra R that carries over. Back behind is of course the gearbox. In fact, look at the drive shafts running all the way out from that. And if we come down past this ceramic coated exhaust, this is an option with Utopia badging. Have a look here. This is actually that whole ethos of exposed components, because when you shift gear, that can be seen through the back of the bumper by the car that's driving behind you. So as you shift through gears, this will actually move, which is, to be honest, absolutely outstanding. Even on the signature quad exhaust tailpipes, come and have a look here on the very top, the bespoke Utopia badging. Everything that you can see, everything that you can take in here is made in the most perfect way, of course, around this V12 powerhouse in the back. 12-cylinder engines, a thing of beauty, instantly recognizable as Utopia. In fact, even down to the brackets, all with this bespoke detailing, and the windows up on the roof. It is a work of art to behold. I really appreciate how, for example, the 1:1 scale model of Coda Lunga is here as well, a car that I experienced on my last visit out here to Pagani's HQ, sitting alongside an original early Zonda. But come on through, because there are a couple of Utopias here, even with the bells ringing like you're in a square in Modena. These are actually very nearly at the completed stage to be heading to their customers, but I want to show you a couple of things. For example, this car is wearing the optional aero blade around the wheels, the optional upgrade wheels. On here, you can't actually see this, but even some of these components are actually anodized painted as well. And down here, this, for example, is actually diamond cut, so super resistant to any form of scratching. And then come through here, this is effectively final preparation. This is polishing, this is inspection, this is signing off. And this is one of the earliest US customers, soon to be heading out. Reflectors give away the market region instantly, and that will be delivered to its customer very, very soon. Having now seen the assembly process, it is time to put together a dream spec of a Pagani Utopia. I cannot wait to show you through this. But before we do, I want to show you some more of what I mentioned earlier, the furniture that's around from Pagani Arte, using the same materials as the cars, designed entirely in-house. For example, this display cabinet made from carbon fiber, housing a car component within. In fact, sometimes even using parts from the cars themselves. But not only that, come and take a look at this. The tiling on the floors even features carbon fiber inserts as well. That detail as you head around, even the light fixtures that are up above as well, and so many other things. But over here, these components in their former life were actually wing supports from the Zonda, which are now used in the sofas and more bespoke furniture that they make. Not only that, I want to show you a few other things. So over the back here, you spot a piano. The reason there is a piano is that Horacio Pagani can even be found on Spotify playing, as he did, the introductory music when this car was actually launched in Milan. Now, talking cars and talking specifications, one of the things I find interesting, having now seen a few different Utopias as we've been exploring, are the different layouts and the configuration splits between painted body panels and exposed carbon fiber. Of course, you can do a full painted car, you can do a full exposed carbon car, but you could also create a dual tone split using this central line on this particular car with the accent separating them. But you could have those lower sections where there's more aero and more of the focus on the drive, with the upper sections in a nice paint color to emphasize the classical lines and style of the car. So I'm immediately thinking in my head how to do that with painted upper surfaces mixing with an exposed carbon fiber down below. And I've got some ideas in mind for what we could do on the exterior. On the interior as well, a few different thoughts and different things and approaches, because there are a lot of different styles that you can go with on this. So we should probably now head inside here to the configuration department to come and take a look at a specification to start working through the options. So let's do this. Let's get ready to build a Utopia. We are here then, now joined by Chiara.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the configurator room here at Pagani.
So this is where the journey begins.
Exactly. This is where we keep all the leather and paint samples. And this is where we start to go through all the options for the configurations of our cars.
But as I understand it, this must be very much the start, right? Because there are so many bespoke ideas and people must come up with things while you're sitting here and you're kind of, we've got to work out how to make that happen, but we can make that happen.
I mean, we have a lot of options as for paint and leather, but of course we can customize pretty much everything on our client's car. So yes, we can customize the layout of the stripes, we can customize the layout of the paint, we can customize pretty much everything, yes.
So I must be honest, we have had a bit of a run through this. We have started with the default configuration, which is at the Bonneville Salt Flats, I believe. And I have a theme in mind for where I'd like to take this. I feel that the almost most iconic and traditional Pagani look is to feature a blue theme, some blue tinted carbon fiber. But what I'm unsure about is the split. So the layouts. There are a couple of, I guess you could probably do anything.
Yes, we have 6 different layouts as for standard options. But of course, I know that he likes the lower section to be in exposed carbon.
So definitely for me, that split, it just seems to suit the car really well. I like it a lot. But what I don't know is whether the upper sections should be in a painted color or in a different tinted carbon color.
Of course, we can try both options. We can start with exposed carbon.
Yes, so I mean, I know the blue theme is very traditional, but I think it suits it so well. It's
Absolutely.
Always suited.
Blue is a very Pagani color, and we have a lot of options, both for carbon, exposed carbon, and solid paint. So we can maybe start with this, which is the blue tricolore.
Oh, that is stunning. That looks really good. So it's the whole upper section, body panels, roof, all in the blue carbon.
Exactly. I can show you a sample of this one.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of it, to go straight to... Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
It's a very nice color, yes, definitely.
Same color as the Zonda Tricolore,
yes.
Must have been, which is definitely my favorite Pagani. Amazing. So can you, I mean, you can combine this, right? You could make the lower section a even darker navy blue
Yes.
carbon,
Definitely.
and go for a dual tone split. And I guess that's when we can then start talking about the stripes and different options. It really is kind of endless. This is just scratching on the surface. So, yes, that's nice. That's really nice.
This is our indigo blue,
Okay.
which is a way darker tone of blue.
Yeah. And then if you, I mean, we should just try, I guess, with the upper section in a painted color.
Of course, we can.
Now, I presume when it comes to paints, there is a predefined selection, but you can also go beyond that and choose almost anything.
Yes, we have a custom material library, so we can choose pretty much between every color that we have in our catalog, but also
Yeah.
maybe this one could
I
be
get
an
to see a lot of
option.
options. Yes, that is stunning. A light blue metallic. Oh
I
gosh,
love
that's.
this combination.
I imagine we've done this just very briefly, but I imagine that if a customer is choosing between two options, there can be a lot of backwards and forwards. A lot of backwards and forwards. So with other painted details, one of the things I know from filming so many Pagani cars over the years is the different liveries. You know, the Cinque, I think really, the Zonda Cinque started that with the horizontal line down the middle, but obviously we've seen on the car that's here the bespoke stripe nature that you can have around the side. And I like the idea of that strip, that separation.
The one that follows the line of the doors.
Yeah, following the
Yes.
line along the dual tone nature of it. And I like the idea of going the really light silver for that probably. I think it would split well, also matching with the silver wheels. It looks very nice, but we do need to change the calipers.
Yeah,
Red
definitely.
calipers
It's a
do
little
not
bit
fit.
disturbing. Yes, they don't suit
Wow.
the car very well.
This is absolutely amazing. And this is just the exterior of the car.
What color are you thinking about for the
I
calipers?
think it probably has to be black or silver with this.
We can try both of them.
Again, I'm sure there's customizable options with it. Maybe we go silver. Black kind of gets a little lost.
Yeah, they lost a little bit.
We can try with the silver with that and go through.
This is the silver.
Yeah, I think that
option.
works better for my kind of, let's say, vision of the car.
I agree. Yes.
And that's just the start of the exterior. I presume there are also the latches, the leather latches.
Yeah, they're usually in the same color of the interior,
Yep.
so we can go inside the car.
Okay, yes, as much as the dark red looks amazing, it probably doesn't suit this specification. So I have a plan for this.
Yeah. What do you have in mind?
A dual tone
Okay.
with a dark navy blue leather
Okay.
for the seats and those types of elements, and a light cream for the upper dash, yeah.
Okay, so this is the two-tone layout.
So we've got a dual tone separation. I just feel like a car with such an elegant classical design deserves an elegant classical interior
Absolutely.
specification.
Absolutely.
And doing a dual tone with that just really sets it apart. And that's before, yeah, I mean, this
So I
is looking
just
amazing.
selected the blue for the main part of the seats
Yep.
and the steering wheel.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to have the darker color on the high contact areas as well.
Exactly.
From my experience of
Yeah, we
light.
always suggest to go for a darker color for the seats. But of course, all the leather undergo like a special treatment.
Yeah.
So they can be also in lighter colors, no problem.
Yeah, makes sense. And then we've got some contrast stitch areas as well. Can we do like an invert on the stitch?
stitching? Yeah,
So we
sure.
can have a dark blue stitch on
On the white, yes.
and vice versa. Look absolutely amazing. This is, I mean, a dream. it's a special thing to be looking at, putting this together. We didn't discuss the technical side, but for sure.
You can see the stitching on the address.
Okay, yeah. Presumably bespoke embroideries, bespoke.
It's possible.
You
Yes.
have your own initials, have your own name,
Yes.
have your own logo. I can have a Shmi 150 embroidery. Yeah, this is really, really cool. We definitely need to change the seatbelts
seat
from
belts.
default.
Definitely,
We should
yes.
go with, I guess, a navy blue. Is that an option?
Yeah, this is an option.
See how that fits with the interior. Yeah, the 6-speed manual looks the part in there. Probably need a slightly darker option. I suppose
Yeah,
that's where
this
it goes into the world of bespoke,
Yeah.
right? Because
We actually have another one, which is a dark blue.
I
think it
yes,
suits
perfect.
best.
Yeah,
Yes.
that suits it very well.
Yes.
Wow, that looks amazing.
What do you think?
I mean, this already looks amazing.
Yes, it does.
I like the detailing on the seats, the outer edge with the dual tone design to match with the the trim around the dashboard and the other elements. So when it comes to, for example, the dash trims, can you anodize different colors?
Of course, we have different option for anodization. This is the silver one, what you see here. Then we can change to titanium.
Okay. I actually think I quite like the silver though.
The silver is
kind
way
of matches
brighter.
the theme, especially with the silver paint on the outside and the silver wheels.
Yeah.
It matches more with the theme. Although I've got to say the titanium or even
I
the black.
think the black gives a more sporty
For sure. If you had
touch to the car.
and I can imagine a much brighter, more vibrant colour
Exactly.
would look really nice with the black anodized interior, the steering wheel and everything as well. It's the full parts.
I wouldn't say it suits this car, this configuration, but we also have the bronze.
Okay.
anodization.
Interesting, because then you could go with a bronze detailing stripe or bronze wheels.
Of course, yes.
Ooh. Oh, this could be a lot of backwards and forwards. Maybe not with this colour. Maybe more with like a dark red, or if you have a dark red car or a dark green car, that would look stunning.
That
with
would
bronze
look
details.
really cool, yes.
I think in the case of this one, we should put it back to silver.
Absolutely.
It
I
will
agree with you.
suit it a little bit better.
Yes. Okay, this is back to silver.
This is such a beautiful interior. And I suppose we've got a lot of different camera angles and things. If we jump back
we
to
can
the...
switch.
Yeah, and switch
This is
back
the
to the
view
outside
on
of the
the
car
six.
and take it all in. I actually really quite like that.
You can see it best from the front, I think.
This looks amazing. Can you, presumably also the upper section of the canopy, you could make the roof A-pillar whole area match with the lower
Yes,
blue
we can
carbon
do it in
fibre?
exposed carbon, yes. I can show you, on the configurator, I can show it only in exposed,
Yeah.
like standard color.
On the automatic right in front of us setup, this is where it goes, I imagine, into further renders when there are different ideas being built up. But the dark blue that we're choosing is such a dark blue that it's nearly black. That looks mega. The only question is paint versus exposed carbon for the upper sections.
This is up to you. I mean, with Utopia, you cannot go wrong. I mean,
No. This is the amazing thing, seeing the different configurations from even the launch specification of just the single pearlescent and a slightly creamed white paintwork
it's a totally
over the whole
different
body
car. Yes.
to something that's then finished in a dual tone carbon finish with some painted stripes and other details. To be honest, if you put that car in front of me right now, it would be hard to say no. Wouldn't it? It looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. Even to begin with. Looks absolutely phenomenal. Oh, the back is really cool. So what about things like if you wanted the active flaps at the rear in carbon?
You
All of that
can
type
do,
of
yes.
thing, yeah?
I can show you.
Although maybe with the shape, that familiar oval shape, it might look slightly out of place.
Now we can see the
Okay,
flaps
yeah.
in exposed carbon.
Interesting. Food for thought. I think probably for me they should stay body colour to match more with the overall design.
I have to say that I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fit a little bit more naturally. Yeah. Smoother. And then other options, things like the exhaust system and the wheels and...
Yes, we have two options for the exhaust. Here we can see the standard titanium exhaust.
Yeah.
But we also have this ceramic coated one. Let me show it to you.
Yeah, and it just looks cool. It just looks really cool. Yeah, ceramic coating done, fixed. And for the wheels, because there's the upgrade aero wheel.
Exactly. These are the standard wheels for
Yeah.
Utopia. But we also have this other option, which is the aero blade
Wow.
with the carbon fiber insert.
Could that also be tinted?
Yes, I
Ooh.
cannot show you on the configurator, but this is up to our designer to modify the renders and to
Yeah.
do this.
I think that in tinted navy blue to match the lower sections and the roof,
Absolutely, would be great.
that looks
Yes.
amazing. It's a mix, I think as the car is in general, between a classic colorway, even with the upper section in a metallic blue, kind of reminiscent of 60s, with carbon fiber, modern materials, lightweight.
It's the perfect combination.
I like this a lot. I think we're onto a winner. I hope nobody else specs this because I want one day to come and make a Pagani in this
We
specification.
will keep this one for you.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're
That's
very
amazing.
welcome.
You won't be surprised to know that I've spent a bit longer on this. We have got out the samples here of everything that's involved. I've chosen a personalized paint color, which of course doesn't exist in the normal palette, so that would need to be made up, and obviously a sample would be as a customer. There are so many different things that you can do with this. I am loving this interior combination, going with that bright, actually ceramic white, and obviously mixing the contrast, but via the control on here, not only can you bring up all of these different angles to see the car from every possible side and make sure that you are happy with the combination that you have chosen, but I particularly like what I'm going to show you right now, which is putting the car into a driving environment. In this case, in Imola. Check this out. This is so unbelievably cool to go from the racetrack to a live rendered version of the specification of car that I have just created. It's awesome. This is absolutely mega. Now, of course, we could have run through lots of different color combinations and I could have shown a whole host of different things, but for me, there's something about that classical metallic blue paint with the blue carbon fiber contrast, that creation of a very distinct Shmee 150 car, a Shmeemobile Spec, here at an iconic and famous racing venue, with the car blasting under the Pagani gantry. Really, really special to be able to bring that up. But not only that, because you can also see it in a host of different environments. You can simply load up the car and take a watch of it in various different beauty shot situations, and also here at night as well, to see it under the different lighting. The way this is rendered is just stunning. And of course, once you have created a totally bespoke specification, that's when the renders are produced of your exact car, perhaps an inverted logo leaving the exposed carbon fiber underneath, different stripes and pinstripe details and elements and paintwork over the body, different embroideries on the interior, different materials. The idea here is that this is just a start of what you can create, a starter concept, an idea of putting it all together using the system with the predefined options, spec, interior finishes, and so much more, looking absolutely beautiful. And that is what it's all about as the car takes off into the night. Absolutely awesome. So in addition to that, obviously all of the pictures, all of the different details, all of the spec of my specific car that I have produced. Unreal. That was pretty awesome, wasn't it? Big thanks to Chiara for joining us to show us through what we could do with this. Hey, you never know. Maybe a future Shmeemobile, Pagani Utopia. You now have a pretty good idea of what my dream spec for one of these would be. And I have to say, this particular example is a lovely, lovely car. It's actually the first Pagani Utopia that was delivered, the first customer car, which is impressive because it was delivered almost exactly to the day 1 year after the car was actually introduced. Now, often with these kinds of cars, there are very long lead times, and it can be a patience game, but amazing that they were able to make that happen for the new model, the third generation Pagani car. If you think back, the Zonda started life as around a £300,000 car, now worth 30 times or more, depending on the particular model. The interest in the Huayra that grew throughout its lifetime, and now in the 25th anniversary year of Pagani, we have the customer cars of the Utopia being delivered, and we've been lucky to see a few of those on the line today. Now, we did actually have some other plans in addition, but alas, the weather outside kind of put an end to that and said no. So it means an excuse to return. Today, nonetheless, has been amazing. A big thank you to the owner of this car, which is back here actually for a service at the moment, for the opportunity to be able to take a look around it today. And a big thanks to the team who have made it possible for us to explore the production line, the assembly of Pagani's new masterpiece, the third model arriving in style, and the opportunity to head into the configuration department to put together my own specification, which you never know, maybe one day becomes a Shmeemobile. What a dream that would be. This thing equipped with a 7-speed manual gearbox, or the paddles with the automated gearbox should you prefer, and a V12 engine, and the looks, elegance, unique details that it offers is just something that can only be described as Utopia, hence the name. That's it for today though. Thank you very much for joining this visit. I hope you've enjoyed taking a tour around here at Pagani, understanding a little bit more of what you can do in terms of the configuration and exploring Utopia. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everyone here, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.